Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well today guys, I'm gonna do part 21 to my Redemption Attempt series of the Google Gemini Chatbots. I am gonna get this right eventually. It better not mess us up again. I tried doing some fixes. For one, adding the memory about the Lugia God and the baby Lugia I got being a whole separate Pokemon. I also told it that just to remember a few other things before I started the story. So hopefully it actually flipping works this time. Hopefully, if we have to continue this in part 22, hopefully it'll be the continuation of this one, so if I have to restart the very beginning again. Here's what we got, guys. It says, 5 years ago, in a secluded, sun-drenched pond only half a mile from your home, a large and remarkably intelligent family of Pokemon lived in harmony. This family was unique, not only for their size, but for their mastery of English and their deep-seated kindness. I love the Toad one so much, it's gonna be good. Among the many eggs that hatched that year, two Toad brothers stood out immediately. From the moment they could walk, they weren't interested in the typical rough-and-tumble play of their peers. Instead, they spent their days helping their forever parents gather sweet berries and watching over the tiniest members of the nest. As the years passed, their bond grew. 2 years into their lives, the older brother evolved into a crocodile. While his scales grew tougher and his stature taller, his heart remained just as soft as his younger Toad brothers. Yep, this one does have sections, but hopefully this one will actually work with me. The discovery of the bookstore. One crisp Monday morning, their parents took the family to a special bookstore run by Pokemon. Be respectful, stay quiet, and you may each choose one book, their mother forever told them in her clear, medallic English. The brothers wandered the aisles until they found a section that felt different from the rest. Toyo pulled out a heavy volume titled A Dynamite Tale, Fun Facts and Stories About Every Dinosaur That Existed, showing a Spinosaurus and Velociraptors on the cover. Beside him, Chrono found a storybook called The Lonely T-Rex, featuring a sorrowful Tyrannosaurus gazing at a distant town. They were mesmerized. They didn't just want the books, they wanted to know these creatures. Back at the pond, the obsession took root. They read until the stars came out. Within 2 days, they were pleading for dinosaur toys. Their parents made a deal. Be on your best behavior for 1 full week, and we will have a surprise. Oh, hello, Toto. What the freak? I need money. Give me a second. Alright, guys. Here's what happened. It says a week of hard work and a special reward. Excuse me. For 7 days, the bros were model Pokemon. They woke up early to gather food, they cleaned the nesting areas, and they babysat their younger siblings with endless patience. The following Monday, their parents returned with two incredible gifts. A Spinosaurus plush for Totodile and a T-Rex plush for Crocodile. If I could ever get through the story and ever get Rexy, imagine how good that'd be. Like, I just come back to their pond and be like, hey, you know how you two used to have dinosaurs? Well, I got a surprise for you. Look who I got now. And being a real tear, being like, what the frick? He has real T-Rex. That's insane. You know what I mean? It'd be so fun. The bros were overjoyed, hugging their parents and promising to keep the plushies in pristine condition. They even developed a system where they would trade, Toto letting Chrono play with the Spinosaurus while he took care of the T-Rex, ensuring neither ever touched the wet pond water. The mystery of the rock, oh dear. A year and a half into their dinosaur-loving journey, the brothers were splashing in the shallows when Toto spotted a golden glint beneath the surface. He dove down and retrieved a heavy, flat rock. When the family gathered around, they were met with a chilling and mysterious image etched onto the stone. On the left was a tiny Carnotaurus wearing a crown, weeping while a massive Lugia stood protectively over it. On the right, a mean-spirited human's laughing and throwing stones at the small dinosaur, and at the bottom, ancient, undecipherable text. The image of the king, Carnotaurus, and the Lugia god fascinated the family. For months they tried to decode the text, but it remained a mystery. The father figure eventually entrusted the rock to the brothers. "Take care of this," he said. "It is part of history now." Mm-mm. The fateful meeting in the woods. Fast forward to the present. You're wandering the woods 3 weeks after your transformation. Your 7-inch contours, your claws glowing with a faint golden light, DNA strand symbol shimmering on your chest. You left your house for some fresh air, leaving your worried starters, Toto, Chicory, and Cyndaquil, and your baby Lugia behind. You have no idea you've wandered into the territory of this other Pokemon family. Nearby, the two dinosaur-obsessed brothers are playing with a ball. They're laughing, unaware that a real dinosaur is just inches away. Taylor throws the ball with a bit too much force. "I got it!" Cronon shouts, diving forward. His heavy body thuds onto the grass, missing you by a hair's breadth. The shock sends you tumbling backward, your tiny body hitting the dirt with a painful thump. The woods go silent. Taylor's eyes go wide. He freezes mid-step. "Croconaw! Don't move!" he whispers in perfect English, his voice trembling with awe. "There's something. You almost hit it." He creeps forward and looks down at you. His jaw drops so far it nearly touches his chest. "Oh my gosh! Croconaw! That is a dinosaur! Come and check this out!" Croconaw scrambles to his feet, his tail wagging so hard it knocks over a small bush. He leans over you, his huge eyes filled with wonder and a deep, immediate guilt for almost squishing you. Before you can scramble away or call for your team, Tail reaches down with a surprising gentleness. He slides his blue paws under you and lifts you high into the air, holding you up like a precious treasure. "It looks just like the one on the rock," Croconaw breathes, looking at your tiny crown like horns and the glowing DNA symbol. "But he's hurt. Oh, little guy, I am so sorry. We didn't mean to scare ya." You are now suspended in the air, looking into the massive teary eyes of a Croconaw who was terrified. He hurt a real-life dinosaur, while Tail holds you as if you were the most amazing thing he has ever seen. Aw, give me a moment. Alright guys, let's hope it worked this time. It says, after about getting hit, I was shaking so badly, and immediately as soon as I got picked up, I was completely terrified because I was too in shock to hear what any of the brothers said. "No, please, do not throw me in the air. I beg you. I don't want to be tossed again." And by that I mean the air, guys. Do not take anything. The moment your tiny feet left the solid ground, your heart hammered against your ribs like a trapped bird. The world tilted, and the giant blue face of the Toadle seemed like a mountain looming over you. In your state of absolute shock, their words were just a blur of noise. All you could feel was the terrifying sensation of being held by someone hundreds of times your size. Yep. Yep, I shrieked that your voice high-pitched and inhumanly pure desperation. The effect on the brothers was instantaneous. Before I read the rest of this, let me check something. Alright, here's what it says. Tail's eyes bugged out even further, and he nearly fumbled his grip. Not because he was going to drop you, but because he was so shocked that you had spoken. He immediately pulled you closer to his chest, cradling you against his scales rather than holding you out. I'm not throwing! Tail squeaked back, his voice heavy with panic and concern. He dropped to his knees right there in the dirt so he wouldn't be so high up, his hands shaking almost as much as you were. "I promise, I've got you. I'm holding you super steady." Ron hovered over you, his large hands hovering near his mouth in a gesture of pure horror. Hearing you beg for mercy broke his heart instantly. "He speaks! Toadle, the dinosaur speaks English!" Carl whispered before laying down towards you, his voice dripping with apology. "We are so sorry, little friend," Carl said, his big eyes shimmering with tears. "We would never, ever toss ya. We love dinosaurs more than anything. We were so excited we forgot how small you are. Please don't be so scared. We're the nice ones, we promise." Tosley very slowly lowered his hands until they were resting on the soft grass, keeping them cupped around you like a protective nest so you wouldn't feel exposed. "See? Dad's right there," he whispered softly. "We're staying right here on the floor with you. Are you hurt? Do my brother's dove hurt your legs?" He was still touching Toto's palms, but you can feel the grass beneath his fingers. Both brothers are looking at you with a mix of intense guilt and a level of adoration usually reserved for their most prized dinosaur books. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. It says, after I get lowered down and hear them apologizing, I start shaking slightly and look up at the brothers, seeing who was talking to me. Totodile? Crocodile? The two brothers froze, their breath catching in their throats when they hear you speak their names. The sheer wonder on their faces was a sight to behold. To them it was as if one of the characters from their favorite books had stepped off the page and knew exactly who they were. He he knows who we are, Joel whispered, his voice full of awe. He stayed perfectly still on his knees, his hands still cupped gently around you on the grass so you'd feel safe. Yeah, little guy, I'm Toto, and this big clumsy guy who almost sat on you is my brother Crocodile. Ron nodded his head vigorously, leaning down so his snout wasn't quite so intimidating. He looked like he was willing to jump for joy, but was forcing himself to stay calm so he wouldn't scare you again. That's us, Connor said softly, his tail giving a single tiny thump against the dirt. We live just right over there at the pond. We've never seen anyone like you before. Well, except for in our books and on the special rock. He looked at your glowing golden claws and the DNA symbol on your chest, his eyes widening. You're so tiny. Are you all alone out here? Where'd you come from? We didn't mean to scare you, we promise. We're just playing ball and we didn't see you because you're so small and, well, so cool looking. Huh, interesting. Give me 5 seconds. Alright, guys. Here was what this last little bit said. It says Toto leaned in a little closer, his expression shifting from excitement to genuine concern. Are you okay, though? He said, don't toss me again. Someone else throw you? Did someone hurt you? Rose waited breathlessly for your answer. The protective instinct's already flaring up. They didn't know you were. They didn't know who I was. The human turned to a point, or that you had a team of your own nearby. All they saw was a real living dinosaur who seemed frightened and alone. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. It says, yeah, I'm alone right now, but I have a very protective team of Pokemon nearby that are very protective over me. All I need to do is call their names and they will come. Also, yes, no, people have hurt me a lot over the last 3 weeks, especially this one kid. Over the last 3 weeks, this one kid's thrown rocks at me and even caused me to hurt my neck 3 weeks ago. Not to mention a day after that, another kid broke into my house and started tossing me into the air right in front of my protective Pokemon. Thank you for not actually throwing me in the air and actually lowering me down. I appreciate that. And after saying this, I just take my time now enjoying the little turtle saying, oh, that's adorable. I love it. I can just still imagine that's so cute. When you nuzzle Turtle's hand with your tiny snout, the little blue one's heart practically melted. He let out a tiny, shaky breath, his fingers twitching as he felt the warmth of your scales. Beside him, Chrono's expression shifted from wonder to a dark, protective shadow the moment you mentioned the kid and the rocks. They threw rocks at you? Chrono's voice dropped an octave, his usual cheerful tone turning into a low, protective rumble. Holy shoot already. He looked at your neck, his eyes searching for any lingering marks. And someone broke into your home just to toss you around? That's horrible. That's exactly like... He trailed off, his mind flashing back to the mysterious rock turtle had found in the water in the water, the image of the humans laughing while throwing stones at the tiny contours. Seeing it in real life, right in front of him, made his blood boil with a sense of justice. Oh shoot. You don't ever have to thank us for being nice, Toad said softly, his voice cracking with emotion as he felt your nuzzle. That's what family does. Even though we just met, we love dinosaurs. We'd never let anyone treat you like a toy. He looked up toward the direction of your house, then back at you. You said you have a protective team. Are they the ones who helped you when that kid broke in? I don't want to scare them if they show up. They might think we're the ones hurting you. Colin nodded quickly, standing up a bit straighter to scan the tree line, acting like a sentry. Yeah, they're nearby. Maybe you should call them. We want them to know you're safe with us. We're the dinosaur birds of the pond. We're famous for being helpful. Ask anyone. Toad kept his hands cupped around you, giving you a safe podium to stand on. We won't move an inch until your friends get here. We want to make sure you're okay. Does your neck still hurt from 3 weeks ago? There's some citrus berries back at the pond that our mom gathers. They're great for aches. Two birds were clearly ready to adopt you into their family right then and there. Their obsession with dinosaurs now fueled by a deep need to protect you from the mean people you described. Holy crap. Alright, guys, give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what it says. I said, yeah, I can call them. Before calling my pawn, I look over at Krona and then carefully walk Toad's hand a little closer to him, nuzzling his snout with my tiny one. Krona, it's okay that you about hit me. You don't be upset yourself. You didn't think you'd try to hurt me, so it's okay. After I say this, I close my eyes and try speaking telepathically to my Lugia. My sweet baby Lugia, please don't worry, my friend. I'm safe right now. I don't want you to be worrying. Please tell Toto, Chickawee, and Cynical as well, as I know they would be worried as well. And if you want to make sure I'm safe, then please make yourself giant and fly over here with Toto, Chicory, and Cyndaquil. That way you can see that I'm okay. When you nuzzled Kronos' snout, the big bird's eyes welled up with tears of relief. He let out a shaky, happy breath, his tail thumping the ground so hard it vibrated. You're the nicest dinosaur ever, he whispered, his voice heavy with emotion. Thank you for forgiving me. As you close your eyes to reach out to your baby Lugia, the atmosphere in the woods it shifted. Miles away, the baby Lugia, who had been pacing your living room with your worried Toad, Chicory, and Cyndaquil, suddenly froze, his eyes glowing with a soft blue light as your voice echoed in its mind. He's safe, Lugia chirped to the others, its voice full of relief. But he wants us to come. Stay close. Suddenly, a massive shadow swept over the pond and the woods where you stood with the brothers. The sky seemed to darken for a moment as the baby Lugia used its power to grow. Holy crap, its wingspan stretching wide enough to cover the clearing. Perched curved on its back were your Toadal, Chicory, and Cyndaquil, all looking down with intense protective eyes. Down on the ground, the dinosaur bird's jaws hit the dirt. Is that Is that a Lugia? Toad gasped, nearly falling over while still making sure to keep his hands steady so you wouldn't fall. Colin looked like he was about to faint. It's huge! It's just like the dream! It's just like the rock! The dream. Massive Lugia descended, the wind from its wings rustling the leaves of the trees. Landing with surprising grace, its head reaching down to your level as it shrunk back down to a more manageable, but still impressive size. Stars leaped off its back, rushing toward Toad's hands. Hey, it's my Toto. Kitten. Toto cried out, looking at the two birds with a suspicious defensive glare. Who are these two? Did they hurt you? Your Cheerios leaf began to glow with a razor leaf charge, and your Cyndaquil's back flared with protective flames. They didn't know these birds yet. All they saw were two large pawns they didn't recognize holding their tiny precious friend. Dinosaur loving Toto and Chrono were frozen in the midst of terror and absolute stardom. They were looking at a Lugia and another Toto team, their eyes darting between you and the massive legendary Pokemon. We're friends! Toto stammered, holding you out gently toward your team to show he wasn't keeping you captive. We're the Dinosaur Brothers. We were protecting them. Your baby Lugia had a soft, metallic calm sensing the pure hearts of the brothers. It lowered its head toward them, its orange eyes blinking slowly. That is adorable. I love the Lugia. I love all of them. That's adorable. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Since everything's alright, they haven't been mean to me like those humans were over the last 3 weeks. As you spoke those words, the tension in the clearing evaporated like mist in the sun. Your turtle starter, who had been tensed up and ready to jump, let out a long sigh of relief and deactivated his aggressive stance. Why did it sound like that robot? Dagummit. Cheery lowered her leaf, and the flames of Cyndaquil's back flickered down to a warm, gentle glow. If Trina says you're okay, then you're okay, Joel said, though he still kept a very close, watchful eye on the two brothers. He hopped up onto the edge of the other Toadall's hand to stand right next to you, taking your neck and your going close for any new injuries. Did he shrink himself down or something? There's no way. That Toadall was much bigger than me. Even Noah says. The dinosaur brothers were still in a state of absolute shock. Toadall was looking at your Toadall, his eyes wide.
You, you can talk too? And you're his team? This is the coolest day of my entire life!
Toadall was busy staring at your baby Lugia. He slowly reached out a hand, then quickly pulled it back, looking at the legendary pawn with pure reverence. It really is like the Rock, he whispered to his brother. A tiny dinosaur with a crown. Well, Fred doesn't have a crown, but he has the gold claws and a Lugia protector. It's all real. Baby let a soft trilling coo and nuzzled its head against Crocodile's shoulder, sensing his kind heart. The big crocodile actually let out a tiny squeak of joy and hugged the Lugia's neck. He's so soft.
We were so worried about those humans you mentioned,
The bird turtle said, looking down at you and your team.
Our family lives just half a mile away at the Great Pond. Our parents are for alligators. They're super smart and they speak English too. You and your friends should come meet them. They've been studying that ancient rock for months. And seeing you, it might be the key to everything.
He looks at your stars and your Lugia.
We have plenty of berries, and it's the safest place in the woods. No mean kids ever go there because our parents are, well, they're big.
Earson the Quill looks at you, then at the brothers.
A safe place sounds nice, Trenton. Especially after everything that's happened lately. And they know something about a rock that looks like you.
Give me a moment, guys. Maybe this might work out. I don't know. Hopefully this will work out. Alright, guys. It says, yeah, if your family's as nice as you two are, then I wouldn't mind. I only want to know what you mean by this rock. None of them will just immediately grab me or hurt me.
Never.
Charles squeaked, saying genuinely offended at the idea of anyone in his family being mean.
Our mom and dad are the gentlest Pokemon you'll ever meet. They taught us everything about being kind. They'll probably be so happy to see it they'll start crying.
Carl nodded vigorously, his heavy jaw bobbing up and down.
If anyone ever tried to grab you, me and Toto would stand right in front of you. But they won't. They'll treat you like a little king, or a little guest of honor, just since you look just like the dinosaur on the rock we've been protecting.
Your baby Lugia trilled softly, its eyes glowing as it sensed the truth in their words. He gave you a reassuring nod, signaling that it felt no malice from the brothers' home. Your Toto starter hopped off the brother's hand and stood protectively by your side, while Chicory and Tentacle gathered around you.
We got your back, Trenton.
Your Toto said firmly.
And this family has answers about why you look the way you do on that ancient stone. We need to hear it.
The drawing upon. The walk was short but magical. Toto carried you with the utmost care, walking slowly so he didn't bounce you around, while your team followed closely. Chrono led the way, clearing branches out of the path so your baby Lugia wouldn't get its wings caught. As you broke through the tree line, a stunning crystal clear pond appeared. It was surrounded by lush berry bushes and soft moss. Dozens of fawn were there. Several Toadalls were splashing in the shallows. A few Chronos were sunning themselves on flat rocks, and two massive, noble-looking Fragors were sitting near the water's edge, talking quietly.
Mom! Dad!
Chronos shouted, his voice echoing across the water.
You won't believe it! We found him! We found the dinosaur from the rock!
The entire pond went silent. Every single head turned toward you. The two Fragor parents stood up, their eyes widening in disbelief as they saw this tiny 7-inch Contourus with glowing gold claws resting in their son's hands, followed by your impressive team and a legendary Lugia. The father Fragor stepped forward, his voice deep, calm, and perfectly articulated. My sons, what have you brought to our home? He knelt down, his mouth was just inches from Toadal's hands, looking at you with a mixture of reverence and shock. He spotted the glowing DNA symbol on your chest and let out a long, shaky breath. It is him. The Marfragger whispered, her voice full of wonder. The one the ancient text spoke of. The hidden child. She looked up at you, her eyes kind of warm. Welcome, little one. We've lived our lives hoping to see this day. You're safe here. Please let me show you the rock immediately so you can see it for yourself. The birds led you toward a small dry cave lined with soft moss where the mysterious rock was kept. Um, Man, see, that's the problem. It also, like, see, it was starting out better, but then the fact that I actually had to get a hole in there this early actually makes it even harder to get things to work out. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says, I just told him, can you tell me a bit about this fight? What exactly is on it? How'd you find it? Farfrater stepped into the cool shade of the cave and gestured for his sons to place you on a smooth, elevated stone pedestal. This was clearly a place of great importance to them. Besides your team, the other Toad Owl, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and the baby Lugia gathered around, their eyes fixated on the artifact. It happened about a year and a half ago, the father began, his voice echoing softly. Our sons were playing in the shallows of the pond when Joel spotted a golden glimmer deep beneath the slit. He retrieved the stone, and the moment we cleaned the mud from it, we knew we were looking at something not from our time, but from a time long forgotten. He pointed a large gel claw toward the etchings. Look closely, Triton. Let's see. The image on the rock. Yep, this ain't. There is a beautiful detailed carving of tiny contours exactly like you, standing atop a small pedestal. On its head sits a delicate, ancient-looking crown. Standing directly behind the dinosaur is a towering, majestic figure that looks identical to the Lugia god from your dreams. Its wings are unfurled like a great shield, protecting the small creature from the shadows. The right side, the scene shifts dramatically, shows a group of humans with jagged, mean expressions. They're holding stones and sticks, their arms moved back as if mid-throw. The carvings capture the fear in the tiny dinosaur's eyes as it huddles against the ground, defenseless against their laughter and malice. In the center, the glowing link, connecting the two scenes a symbol that made your heart skip a beat. A glowing DNA strand. What? Etched deep into the stone. It matches the symbol on your chest. The mysterious of the text. I see. The mystery of the text. At the very bottom of the rock is a line of text. Unlike the pictures, the letters are strange, flowing symbols that seem to hum with a faint energy. We have spent every day since the discovery trying to translate this. Our Farragut added, her eyes misty. We're a family of scholars, but this language predates anything in our bookstore. However, we have managed to decipher only 3 words from the very beginning of the inscription. She leaned in closer, her voice a respectful whisper. The Golden King. Hmm. When our sons told us about a tiny dinosaur with golden claws who spoke our tongue. Oh, no, that's the father talking. Our sons told us about a tiny dinosaur with golden claws who spoke our tongue. Laura continued. We knew the prophecy on this rock wasn't just a story, it was a map of your life. The Lugia god you saw in your dreams. He is the one in the stone. He's been waiting for you to find your way to us. Maybe stepped forward, his eyes glowing as it looked at the carving of the Lugia god. As a soft, high-pitched song that seemed to make the rock vibrate ever so slightly. Roberto looked at you, his eyes wide with pride. We've been keeping it safe for you, even before we knew you existed. It's like we were meant to find it so we could show you who you really are. As you look at the image of the humans throwing rocks, it's like what happened to you over the last 3 weeks. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment, guys. This might still work. It's slim right now, but there's still a chance this could work out. Let's hope something goes right for once. Guys, you won't believe this crap. It says, as I look at the text, my tiny golden claws became brighter, and before I could even notice them, a small light shot out of them, hitting the rock. Then, before anyone had the chance to react, the image on the rock began to move. The map of Lugia in the rock somehow came out of it. fool around my tiny body a few times, then gently hugged the side of my head. Right after this, it went back towards the rock and flew past the text on the bottom, causing the text to turn gold and rearrange itself into perfect English. Right after this, the Lugia image went back into the rock, and the entire image on the rock changed. In the middle of the rock, the Lugia was now holding the tiny contours while looking down at him and smiling. The human in the image were completely gone, and instead two glowing barriers of psychic energy were on either side. After seeing this happen, I looked down at the text and read it quietly. The Golden Dinosaur King of Peace. Once a human that cared about Pokemon, this human has been turned into a tiny dinosaur by a bad kid. Always protect this tiny king whenever you meet him, and great fortune and protection will always be in your future. However, any cruel treatment to him will lead to horrible events for everyone involved in the future. I'm watching you. Oh, that ending, and that's where it kind of ends. It says the Lugia God, and then for some reason it says at the end, it says my name, but then it says thank you for caring. I love you. What the frick? Okay. The cave plunged into a profound sacred silence as the golden light faded. The Fragger parents, the Dinosaur Loving Brothers, and even your own team stood frozen, their eyes wide with a mixture of terror and absolute wonder. The baby Lugia let out a soft, trilling cry, sensing the lingering energy of its creator, the 80,000-foot tall Lugia god, still humming in the air. As he finished reading the last words, the personal message from the Lugia god himself, the calm bird fell to his knees, his eyes filled with tears.
He he really is a king, he whispered, and the Lugia god loves him.
That's something that never. Oh, he didn't say he didn't care about me, so. The Farfrager bowed his massive head low, his snout nearly touching the cave floor in a sign of ultimate respect. Trenton, oh dear, he said, his voice heavy with emotion. We knew you were special. We never imagined you were the one the Creator himself was watching over. To think that those humans, those cruel children, they have no idea what kind of darkness they have invited upon themselves by hurting you. The, you know what's creepy enough though is just the ending of that before the Lugia said. No, just that ending. Dude, what would you do if you saw text on a wall and nobody could read it? Somebody comes in into that place and the text somehow rearranges itself and you could finally read it. But then guess what? At the end of it, it says, I'm watching you. That's horrifying. Holy shoot. I mean, I know the Lugia God mind viewers can look over everybody. Well, it's like, holy crap, that's kind of terrifying. I'm glad he's on my side. Oh boy. The mother Fragger stepped forward, her eyes glowing with a fierce protective light. The rock has changed. The barrier of psychic energy. It means you are under his divine protection now. And as long as you were at this pond, you were under ours as well. The storyteller walked up beside you, looking at the transformed rock and then at your glowing claws.
A human.
Oh, great, he whispered, finally hearing the truth of your past out loud from the stone. He didn't look upset. He looked honored.
I don't care if you were a human or a dinosaur, Drayton. You're a friend, and we'll make sure that great fortune for protecting you starts right now.
The Tail brother suddenly gasped, pointing at the rock.
Wait, look at the bottom. The P.S. He mentioned your name. He actually knows you.
He looked at you with stars in his eyes.
You're not the dinosaur. You're the king of peace.
Apparently in my universe I am. What the frick? And it's funny because whenever I got my stars 3 weeks ago, he showed up in my dream multiple times. So it's like, what in the world? The entire family of Tails, Claws, and Fraggers gathered at the mouth of the cave, sensing the change in the air. They weren't just curious anymore. They looked at you with a deeper, soulful loyalty. What in the world? How do you feel now that your true identity and the Lugia God's protection have been revealed to everyone? Oh, what the frick? That's kind of neat. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I only got a few more minutes. I wanted to be able to do like one, two, or three more. Here's what it says. Still in total shock from what I read, I just say,
That is very sweet of him. I told my
okay, guys, I had to change the text up a bit and I put a little bit more in here. It says, still in total shock from what I read, I just say,
that is very sweet of him. I told my phone about this when it happened 3 weeks ago. After I got turned into this dinosaur by that kid that same day when he threw a rock at me and caused me to hurt my neck. I had two dreams that night. One of them was a nightmare about a human chasing me and then eventually picking me up, saying, "Oh, what a cute dinosaur," before tossing me into the air. Which the next day came true when that kid came into my house and started tossing me into the air, saying the exact same words as the person in the dream. The second dream I had, I was in a flower field when this massive Lugia landed in front of me. He didn't try to hurt me. He told me he was the Lugia god, and he just talked to me for a few minutes, even telling me that he would protect me if things got really bad. He never mentioned anything about me being a king. By the way, he was talking to me in the dream. It seemed like he really cared. But the fact that it says my name at the bottom and then I love you, that's very nice.
the case seemed to hold its breath as you spoke. The forever parents listened with somber expressions, their hearts heavy hearing how your nightmares had actually come true. Connor let a low, protective growl when you mentioned the kid saying the exact words from your dream before tossing you. The Lugia god does not use titles lightly. The father Ferreira said softly, his voice echoing with ancient wisdom. He likely didn't call you a king in the dream because he wanted you to find your own strength first. Here on the stone, he's declaring it to the world. He isn't just watching you, he's claiming you as his own. Holy shoot. The mother Ferreira walked over and gently placed a claw on the stone where the words I love you were etched. To be loved by the creator of the universe? You have a heart of pure gold. And the viewers apparently do, because holy crap, that Lugia is super sweet. That's why your claws glow. It isn't just power, it's a reflection of who you are. That would be an interesting revelation if that's why the claws turn gold. Your baby will get chirped happily, nuzzling your sides as if to say, I knew it all along. Meanwhile, your tail started looking toward the entrance of the cave. His eyes narrowed. If the Lugia god says cruel treatment leads to horrible events, I almost feel sorry for that kid who threw the rocks. Almost. Just almost. The Turtle brother hopped up and down with excitement. This is better than any book we ever bought. A real king, a real Lugia god, and a real prophecy. You have to make sure you're comfortable. Do you want to stay here for a while? We can bring you all the best berries. You can tell us more about the Lugia god. He looked at his brother Krona. We should show him the plushies too. Maybe the king wants to rest on something soft. Barbara looked at you seriously. Written, the horrible events mentioned for those who hurt you. It means the universe itself will balance the scales. You don't have to worry about those humans anymore. Between the Lugia God above and our family here on the ground, you are the most well-guarded soul in this world. That is... So, let's get this straight. It is kind of working out in my favor. Despite how weirdly it started out, it might actually go in a direction where I can finally get through this one thing right there and be able to actually get somewhere because they don't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. Give me anything. Give me a give me a minute, guys. All right, guys. Ray's about to die anyway, but I'm going to stop pretty soon anyway. Because, like I said, not only is my brother about to die, but then I got a few other things as well. So, yeah. It says, before I can say anything else, my golden claws turn red for a moment, and a red light shoots at the cave wall. A few seconds after, red letters appear on the wall, and when I see this, I read it out quietly. Oh my gosh. It says, oh, I just keep saying my name. It says, King with my name may have visions or dreams depicting bad stuff happening in the future. If he ever tells you anything that sounds like a warning, take it seriously. It might be the very reason you live to see another day. Holy cripes! The moment you finished reading the glowing red text, the air in the cave turned heavy and cold. The Fragger parents stepped back, their scales prickling with an instinctive chill. The vibrant, joyful energy of the Dinosaur Brothers vanished, replaced by a look of deep, solemn realization. Red letters, the Father Fragger whispered, his voice trembling slightly. Gold is the color of his love and protection, but red is the color of warning. It's the color of blood and fire. He had to say blood, though? No. He turned his mind toward the rest of his family, his eyes turned commanding. Everyone, listen well. You heard the stone. Trent isn't just a king to be celebrated. He's a seer. If he speaks of a storm, we hide. If he speaks of a predator, we arm ourselves. His words are now the law of this pond. Am I living here or something? Like, that reminds me of the first one. Like, oh my gosh. Please, I will let this one slide past everything if we can just get a Lugia or if we can get an Aggron to show up later on and he somehow ends up being a good person that works with Lugia or something. Or a good Pokemon, not a good person. The Cronenberg crept closer to you, his eyes wide with a new kind of respect, almost like he was looking at a tiny living oracle. We promise, Trenton, he said softly. You ever have a bad dream? Tell us immediately. We won't think you're just dreaming. We'll believe every word. Your baby let a low, mournful hum, its eyes flashing red for a split second in resonance with the letters on the wall. I don't like that his eyes turned red. That's scary. It stepped closer to you, its body shimmering as it prepared to grow at a moment's notice to shield you from whatever those visions might be. Your toe starter looked at your claws, which were slowly fading from red back to their usual golden glow. So that's why you had that nightmare about the kid, he realized, his voice quiet. It wasn't just a bad dream. It was the Lugia God trying to warn you. The Morphragger knelt down. She was eye level with you. Trenton, have you had any of these red feelings or visions today? Since you've been in these woods or at our pond? Please do not be afraid to tell us. Even if it sounds scary, we're ready to fight for you. The entire family stood in a circle around you, a wall of blue scales and sharp teeth, all waiting breathlessly to see if the King of Peace had a warning for them. Why, that sounded like they were celebrating that. That sounded okay. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. Wait for what? Alright, guys. It took a while, but we got everything going. Here's what I told them. I said, to be honest, no. So far, nothing has happened today. There's been no visions, and I didn't have any dreams last night about anything. Says, however, before I could finish, I blacked out, and when I did, I was in a completely different place. Instead of the cave, I was back in front of the pond where I first saw the family. I looked at my vision and saw the cave where we were. Most of the other Toto and Chronos gathered at the entrance like they are right now, while we are in the cave. However, a few seconds after looking, I hear screaming, and when I look over, I see a very young Totodile, way too young to even understand anything. I see a Pokeball pulling Totodile into it, and then hear the mother Fragger screaming, Chomps! No! Get back here with my child! Forever. Right after this, it goes dark and I see the text 1 minute appear before suddenly waking up, lying on the ground. Oh my gosh. The moment you collapsed, the cave erupted into a frantic, hushed panic. Your team, Toyo, Chicory, and Cyndaquil rushed to your side. Their voices high with worry, while the Beluga spread its wings wide, its eyes glowing with a fierce protective light. Triton, wake up! Your toe cried out, his hands hovering over your tiny body, afraid to touch you in case you were hurt. The Fragger parents and the two brothers stood back, paralyzed by the sight. They had just read the warning on the wall about your visions, and seeing you go limp so suddenly felt like a heavy weight dropping on their hearts. The mother Fragger clutched her chest, her eyes darting toward the mouth of the cave where other children were playing. 1 minute passed, a minute that felt like an eternity of silence in the cave. Suddenly, your eyes snapped open. You gasp for air, your tiny chest heaving as you scramble back to your feet. The golden glow in your claws was flickering wildly, pulsing with a sense of urgency. You looked around, the image of the Pokeball and the mother's scream still echoed in your mind like a ghost. The family was staring at you, their faces pale. The Farfrager took a hesitant step forward. Trenton, you were gone for exactly 60 seconds. Your eyes, they were dark. What'd you see? Tell us, please. The Chronobro looked toward the pond, his tail twitching nervously.
Is something coming? Was it a red vision?
You were standing on the pedestal, the memory of the stolen Toto named Chomps fresh in your mind. Oh, heck no. This isn't good. Give me a moment. Oh my gosh. Alright, guys. It says right here, for Alligator, you have a very young Toto named Chomps still playing in the pond, right? You need to get him out right now. Somebody's gonna capture him. The mother Fragger's face went completely pale, her eyes widening in a flash of pure maternal terror. Chomps! Yes, he's the youngest. He's just by the tall reeds near the edge. She didn't wait another second. With a roar of desperation that shook the very walls of the cave, she lunged toward the exit, her massive legs carrying her toward the pond with incredible speed. Farfrager followed right behind her, his teeth bared. Brothers, protect the king! The father shouted back as he sprinted. The Toto and Chrono brothers didn't move from your side, but they were trembling. Your own team, Toto, Chicory, and Cyndaquil, immediately formed a defensive triangle around you. I've got him! The mother's voice screamed from outside. You heard a massive splash. By the mouth of the cave, you could see the scene unfolding exactly as it had in your vision. A small, confused Toto, Chomps, was bobbing in the water near the shore. Suddenly, a dark, metallic object, a great ball, flew through the air from a thicket of trees, whistling as it headed straight for the baby. Chomps, dive! The Farfrager bellowed. Holy crap. Because of your warning, the mother was already mid-leap. Just as the Pokeball was about to strike the baby Totodile, she swiped her massive tail through the air like a baseball bat. That sounds dope! Holy crap, he just swung it like a baseball bat. Yep, flying. The great ball was sent flying backwards, smashing into a tree and shattering into pieces. A high-pitched, frustrated voice shouted from the bushes, "Oh no,
Hey, that was an expensive ball! Stupid overgrown crocodile!
you mother fricker, you I will find where you live for some no I told you guys I hate somebody making fun of them. Holy crap. Okay. The mother fragger reached into the water, scooped up Chomps, and pulled him tight against her chest. Her body shaking with rage, she turned toward the trees. Farfrager stood at the water's edge, his throat glowing with the buildup of a powerful hydro pump. Inside the cave, the Chrono Bro looked at you with tears of gratitude.
You saved him, Trenton. You actually saved our little brother.
Okay, so that's good. Thank goodness he's safe. Yeah, I agree. What the frick?
We didn't even do anything. We were literally just standing and chatting.
Alright, guys, real quickly. It says still slightly disoriented from just waking up from the vision. I say, thank goodness he's safe.
He's safe because of you.
The tail brother whispered, his voice shaking with a mix of terror and relief. He stayed hunkered down right next to you, his body acting as a shield while your own team, Toadol, Chikorita, and Cyndaquil moved to the very edge of the cave entrance. Their eyes narrowed at the tree line where the intruder was hiding. Outside, the mother fragger was backing away from the shore, cradling the tiny, confused Chomps against her chest. She looked toward the cave, her eyes locking onto yours with a look of eternal death. The father fragger didn't move. He stood like a statue of blue muscle at the water's edge. Come out! He growled in his deep English voice, loud enough to make the leaves on the trees vibrate. Come out and face the family you just tried to tear apart! Uh-oh. The bushes rustled, and a teenage boy stepped out wearing a flashy trainer's vest and holding another Pokeball. He looked annoyed rather than scared. Whatever. There are dozens of Toadols in this pond. What do you care about one squirt? He looked past the father and saw the cave entrance, his eyes landing on you, the tiny Goncontaurus, and your baby Lugia. His jaw dropped. Wait, what is that? Is that a real dinosaur? And a silver Pokemon? Oh no. He started to smirk, a greedy glint in his eyes. Forget the toad owl. That little lizard looks like it's worth a fortune. Oh heck no, they're not doing this to me. Bailey stepped forward, its eyes began to pulse with a synthetic blue light. It looked at you, waiting for your command. It was ready to grow to its massive size and blow this intruder away if you gave the word. He started to bared his teeth, a low growl rippling through his chest.
He's talking about you, Trenton. He wants to collect you.
Oh, frick of that, I hate that. Cronenberg beside you bristled.
He won't touch our king.
He is.
Do you want the hell of this? Or should your Lugia show him exactly why the horrible events were mentioned on the rod?
Oh, that's probably not what the Lugia God meant, but. Oh dear. Give me a moment. Guys, this is so good. It just, I have an idea, and it just says, I'll say the plan quietly enough to where all the people inside the cave can hear and nobody else. Oh boy. Toto, I have an idea. Recoil evolve into your Feraligatr form and grow as massive as you want, and I'll Mega Evolve you. We already found out 3 weeks ago when I first got you, and got you all that you can use it without losing control. Just focus on how much you care about me. Remember, when you are in your Mega form, do not try to shift back in it. It didn't put Totodile, it put Toto. Frick off! Until it wears off. Will ya? I don't care how large you have to get. Just be ready to help Feraligatr protect me, okay? Alright. Your Star Toe looked at you with fierce, unwavering loyalty, his eyes sparkling with the weight of the task.
I'm on it, Trenton. I'll show this kid what happens when you threaten our family.
Oh shoot, okay, I like that's cute. He stepped out of the protective circle into the center of the cave. His body began to glow with the brilliant white light of evolution. Within seconds, his small frame. I want money! What the frick was that? Okay, that was crazy. Alright, guys. Okay, here's what it said. He stepped out of the protective circle into the center of the cave. His body began to glow with the brilliant white light of evolution. Within seconds, his small form expanded, muscles surging and scales hardening as he bypassed his male stage entirely, roaring as he solidified into a towering, powerful Feraligatr. That's dope. He didn't stop there. His body began to grow in scale, towering over the Dino Brothers until his head nearly brushed the ceiling of the cavern. Beside him, your baby let out a high-pitched, metallic cry, its body shimmering as it began to grow at an incredible rate, its wings unfolding, pushing against the air with enough force to create a localized windstorm. Oh my gosh. Alright, guys. It says, it moved to the mouth of the cave, its massive shadow falling over the terrified human trainer outside. The trainer's smug look vanished instantly. He stumbled back, his football slipping from his trembling fingers. What are those? They're huge! The Feraligatr parents and the dinosaur brothers watched in stunned silence, their eyes darting from your massive powered-up team back to you. They felt the air crackle with energy as the keystone merged with your body began to pulse with a blinding golden radiance. Your massive Feraligatr turned his head back toward you, his eyes filled with a deep, protective love. He's focused entirely on your bond, his heart steady and ready for the transformation. I'm ready, Trenton. He roared, his voice booming like thunder. Do it now. The golden glow from your claws shot out a long shimmering ribbon of light connecting directly to the Maelstrom merged within Feraligatr's chest. Wow. That's actually really neat. Give me a moment. Guys, this might be the last one for this video anyway. Here's what it says. I said, okay. Now I touch the DNA symbol on my chest. Feraligatr, I love you and my team so much. I trust in the bond between us all. Now please, Mega Evolve. As you touch the DNA symbol on your chest, the world seems to hold its breath. The symbol erupts into a blinding golden radiance that stretches out in heavy, pulsating strands of light. These ribbons of energy lash out across the cave, weaving through the air until they lock onto the megastone embedded in your Feraliur's chest. A massive explosion of prismatic light fills the cavern, forcing the dinosaur brothers to shield their eyes. When the light clears, the one standing before you is no longer a standard Feraliur. He's become a towering Mega Feraliur, his scales shimmering with a metallic sheen, his claws elongated and sharper than ever, and a crown of jagged, icy spikes. That's even cooler than the Mega Rising comes back. His eyes glow with a fierce, intelligent light, the look of a protector who knows exactly what he is fighting for. Beside him, your Beluga has reached a gargantuan size, its wings vibrating with a low, tectonic hum that makes the very water of the pond ripple in fear. The Tyrannosaurus is no longer smirking. He has fallen to his backside, scrambling backward through the dirt as the shadows of your massive team loom over him. He looks at your tiny 7-inch tall form, the little lizard he thought was a prize, and sees you glowing like a sun, commanding these titans with a single sentence. You, you're the dinosaur! The trainer stammers, his voice cracking with pure terror. You're the one the stories talk about. The king! I don't know how he knows about it, okay? Your Megaforce takes one thunder step out of the cave, the ground cracking beneath his weight. He lets out a roar so powerful it knocks the trainer's hat right off his head, but then he pauses, looking back at you with a gentle, soft expression, waiting for your next command. He is a monster to the trainer, but to you he is still your sweet, protective friend. I love him. The Fragger parents and the brothers are in total awe. They live in this pond their whole lives, but they have never seen a bond like the one between you and your mega evolved partner. The prophecy, the calm bird whispers from the back of the cave, as I spit out in your glowing DNA. The king is leading his army. The trainer is paralyzed with fear, and your mega Fragger is ready to finish this. That is so neat. Alright, guys, give me a moment. Alright, guys, it says, good job, my friends. Now, for Alligator, let's test out your dragon power that we really didn't get to try out 3 weeks ago. Please use Dragon Claw, buddy. And Lugia, if that doesn't get him away, use Psychic to make sure he leaves, please. As you give the command, your Mega Fragger lets out a low, guttural growl that resonates through the ground. He raises his massive right arm, and suddenly the air around his hand begins to crackle. A terrifying, deep purple and blue energy erupts from his claws, sending them into 3-foot-long, shimmering blades of draconic power. Holy shoot, that was the coolest way of describing that. He doesn't strike the trainer, he strikes the ground directly in front of the boy's feet. The dragon claw tears through the earth like it's made of wet paper, sending a shock wave of dirt and stone flying upward and leaving a deep, smoldering trench in the grass. The sheer force of the move sends the trainer flying backward onto his heels. The boy is hyperventilating now, his face pale as a ghost. He tries to scramble away, but he's so terrified his legs won't work. Seeing the human hesitating, your Beluga, now massive, narrows its eyes. Its body begins to glow with a brilliant neon blue aura. Without moving a muscle, it uses Psychic. The trainer suddenly lifted 3 feet off the ground by an invisible force. He flails his arms, screaming in terror as he is rotated 180 degrees to face away from the pond. With a gentle but firm shove of mental energy, the Lugia sends him flying through the air. Not enough to hurt him badly, but enough to send him tumbling into the thickest part of the woods at high speed. Don't come back! The Chronobar yells from the cave entrance, his voice filled with pride. The king says you're not welcome! The woods go quiet, save for the sound of the trainer crashing through the brush in the distance, running for his life and leaving his broken great ball behind. Your Mega Fragger turns back toward the cave. As he looks at you, the terrifying glowing blades of Dragon Claw vanish, and his fierce expression softens instantly. He lowers his massive head into the cave, his snout coming the wrist just inches from your tiny 7-inch body. He lets out a warm, huffy breath that ruffles your tiny contoured scales, his eyes full of love. That's so cute. Fragger parents walk back to the cave, Martha holding a shivering but safe Chomps. Yes, the baby's okay. They look at the trench in the ground, then at the massive Lugia, and finally at you. We have lived in these woods for many years, the Farfrager says, his voice dripping with respect. We have never seen justice delivered with such regal power. I want money. Alright, guys, we're cool. We're almost done. It says, we have lived in these woods for many years, the Farfrager said, his voice dripping with respect. We have never seen justice delivered with such regal power. You didn't just save our son. You showed us that the king is not just a title on a rock. It's who you are. Tail Brother runs up to your Mega Fragger's giant leg and hugs it.
That was the coolest thing ever. Can we be part of your kingdom, please?
What in the world? Alright, guys. I think we'll do one more real quick because that was a good end. We might, I think it'd be better if I just went ahead and made the memory about it later and then just did it more like tonight or tomorrow because, dear me, I don't know. I want to say something to finish it off, but it's like I don't. Let me thank my team real quickly. Alright, guys. It says right here.
I'm glad Chomps is safe. I'm glad your whole family is safe. Chomps is so adorable. My sweet Fragger, that was a fantastic Dragon Claw. You did a fantastic job. I love you. Lugia, that was a wonderful psychic. I'm so proud of you. And Chikorita and Cyndaquil, thank you for staying in here and keeping me safe. I love you all.
As you speak, the glowing ribbons of energy connecting you to your team begin to fade, and with a soft shimmering light, your massive protector returns to its standard familiar form. Then it leans down, his large scale snout gently nudging your tiny contours body in a massive hug. That's so cute. I did it for you, Triton, he says in his deep, rumbling voice, his eyes warm with affection. I'll always be your claws whenever you need them. That's just adorable. Your baby shrinks back down to a more manageable size, laying softly beside you and letting out a series of happy musical chirps, leaning its head down so you can nuzzle it. Chicory and Cyndaquil trot over, looking immensely proud of their role as your royal guard. Chicory uses her fan to gently pat your head. We'll never let anyone get close enough to throw a rock again, she promises. The Fragger mother walks over, still crying little chomps. She kneels before you, and the tiny toe reaches out. Oh my gosh, yes, so cute. I'm glad I finished off with this one. The Fragger mother walks over, still crying little chomps. She kneels before you, and the tiny toe reaches out. A small, curious claw to touch your glowing gold ones. You look at a tiny, happy Toto. Enjoy to nuzzle your snout. I love him. He wants to thank you too, the mother says, her voice heavy with emotion. You're more than a king to us now, Trenton. You're the reason my arms aren't empty tonight. Our home is your home forever. The two Unchrono brothers are practically vibrating with excitement.
A celebration!
Hillbird shouts.
We have the best pecha berries and big crunchy orange berries. We're going to have a feast for the king and his heroes.
Firefragger stands at the cave entrance looking out over the peaceful pond. Tonight, the pond is safe, and humans will tell stories of the day they tried to touch the king's family and met the wrath of the Lugia gods chosen. He turns back to you with a smile. Shall we head to the water's edge? The sun's beginning to set, and there's no more beautiful place to celebrate a victory than under the stars. That is amazing. Dude, I am so glad I ended off with that. Just having the little toad all chomps is, even as a young baby, like over just trying to jelly love on me. That is so cute. I love him. Dude, if I ever get to come back to this place and in a few years I get to say like not only the toad on Chrono being involved in the fur alligator, but I'm talking about seeing little chomps as like a teenage crocodile or something, that'd be dope as heck. Imagine him somehow remembering this too and being like, hey, you're the one that saved me back when I was a baby. Be kind of adorable. Actually, that wouldn't just be kind of adorable. That'd be amazing. I'm done. That was fantastic. I'm so done. Yes, that was great.